Before we get started, I like to preface this by saying that neither of these two guys were the sole reasons why we lost tonight. It's a culmination of a lot of things. These guys are just a part of it. But also, they're supposed to be our two best players, and they have a certain level of expectation that they have with their play that they simply have not been living up to. And this isn't just a one game sample size thing. This has been over a couple weeks or this entire playoffs. So let's talk about it. But before we get started, I'm FLB. I've been making basketball videos for the past year and a half, but these past playoffs has really been picking up some traction, and a lot of people seem to be enjoying my content. So if you're one of those people, please hit that like button and the subscribe button. I'd love if you join.
My homeboy Tyler, he playing South Beach. He told me this summer he gon' fix my jumper. I told Boy Wonder that we might got a thumper.
So far throughout these NBA playoffs, Jimmy Butler has been an absolute monster. Sometimes he's been able to just carry us to wins by himself, but there's other times where he does need help. And he always seems to give us the production we need, and the other guys seem to need to step up, which is something that hasn't been happening on a consistent basis. And that's from what's supposed to be one of our number one guys in Bam Adebayo and Herro. Well, who's supposed to be our second and third best player? Throughout these entire NBA playoffs, on the Herro side of things, he's been able to give us some spotty offenses there and there. Like in game 1 in the first half when we were drowning, he's the guy that kept us in that game to the point where we didn't have a double-digit lead going in the second half. And then in the two games versus the 76ers at home, Herro gave us a 25 and an 18-point performance that led us to those wins with Bam Adebayo. But that's simply it. Those have been the only three good performances he's had. And even last game, I say in the second half, he was a negative more than a positive when the Heat was really closing in on this lead. So he hasn't been really able to give us a full game of consistent play outside of two games this playoff run. And right now, it's really hard and looking real suspect for a guy that's supposed to get a max extension going into this offseason right now. If he isn't able to produce in the playoffs to a certain level, then we're gonna have to have some real conversations about him, because it's not looking good right now. Because as of right now, 14.2 points, 4.6 rebounds, 2.9 assists, 1 steal on 43% shooting and 27% from 3 isn't gonna cut it, big guy, when you're supposed to be close to a max player. There's just a lot going on right now, and Herro really isn't living up to expectation. And right now, Jimmy Butler is giving us everything he possibly can and more. So the fact that this is about to be one of the reasons why we don't win a chip this year is really sad. But I don't think Herro has been the biggest issue so far this playoffs. Because that goes to our lead man, Bam Adebayo, who this postseason is only averaging 14 points per game, 7.4 rebounds, 2.6 assists, 1.1 steals on 60% shooting on only 8.3 shots per game. Not even averaging 10 field goal attempts on what's supposed to be, well, your team, or you're the second best player on this team. Because so far in the past 4 games, Bam Adebayo hasn't exceeded 10 field goal attempts at all, or recorded a double-double, or 10 rebounds at all. I know every single time Bam goes onto the court, he gives us all NBA level defense at all times. But it is also extremely sad to see how disengaged he is on the offensive end at times. Right now in the last 4 games of the playoffs, Bam Adebayo is averaging 9.5 points, 6.7 rebounds, 1 assist on 5.5 field goal attempts per game. That's supposed to be your borderline all-star right now. He's giving us some pretty good performances so far in the playoffs. Let's be honest here, for the majority of the playoffs, Bam has looked very disengaged on the offensive end. In fact, 2 of his best games came against DeAndre Jordan. The only other 2 games that he looked relatively good were the closeout game against Atlanta and the game 4 that we lost against Philly. Overall, if Bam is going to be our young star, our second best player, and the guy that's next to Jimmy to give him consistent production to win a championship, it has to be better than this. And it's not from a lack of ability. Bam has shown whenever he's aggressive and he wants to attack the rim, he wants to attack the boards, and he wants to actually make his presence felt on both ends of the floor, and he's engaged. He's always be able to do it. And I don't know if it's either a coaching problem where we're not calling the sets for him to get involved in the offense, or if it's just an aggression problem on Bam Adebayo's side and reasons why he is not producing on the offensive end like that. Maybe it's a mixture of both, but right now something needs to happen that gets him involved in the offense, whether it's a mentality thing from him or a coaching scheme from Spo, something needs to happen so that Bam Adebayo's impact can be felt in these games, because we can't have Jimmy consistently giving us 25 to 30 to sometimes 40 in these games and we still find a way to lose them. And of course, the shooting for the entire team needs to get better. That includes Tyler. Victor Oladipo needs to be able to give us some semblance of offense, because the past couple games he's also been very bad. One of our shooters has to actually pick up some slack in either Max Strus or Duncan Robinson, but something needs to change for these two specifically. For Tyler right now, it's not even the lack of good looks, because he's been gaining good looks and he's definitely been able to work his way to actually find some open shots. They're just not going down, and you expect a hot streak from him at some point, but we have to see something different from these guys. Right now, that's all I have to say. We need to get better. This is not Philadelphia or Atlanta anymore. We're getting to the big dogs, because right now this isn't going to cut it if we're looking to win the series. But again, this is FLB. That's my time, and I'm out.